The dog, with his mouth tightly gagged and his rear legs bound with strong rope, hung upside down from a low tree branch. A barely 1-year-old's body dangled still in the dry air under the midday sun. Nobody noticed who did it. No one knew why, but there was no denying the savagery. Too feeble to fight, a white gay Labradox is forced to suffer in silence. He wasn't alone, though, because there were no roads in the area, no hikers, and no human sounds, just the sound of flies hovering overhead and the gentle trickle of rope against bark. A group of untamed chimpanzees had been observing from high in the trees. At first, they had just looked at the weird figure hanging below, their heads inclined, their brows wrinkled, and their black eyes examining it. They had always associated humans with danger, but this was not a human. This little, helpless creature was in agony. They knew something was off even though they remained silent. Minutes went by. Then the loudest female, subsequently identified as Mara, broke the stillness with a harsh cry. The group started to descend one by one. The chimps made deliberate movements. One of them scaled the branch and clutched the knot. Another was standing with their arms outstretched. A third circled around to watch. The dog stayed motionless and half-closed, showing no signs of anxiety or fatigue. The chimp on the branch pulled at the rope while carefully examining it. It was tight, ragged, and thick, but not incomprehensible. The monkey gradually started to loosen it with its teeth and fingers. It took some time, but finally the rope gave way. They carefully placed the lifeless body on the woodland floor after it dropped but was caught before it reached the ground. One chimp rubbed dust off his fur while the other squatted next to him and gazed into his face. A third took off the gag by spitting the material away after biting it apart. The dog twitched slightly and began to breathe. The chimps just waited and guarded him instead of celebrating. Their cries became more rhythmic and softer as they reverberated through the forest. A ranger in the area heard them at that point. He had been on a nearby trail when he became aware of the odd cacophony of chimp noises. He followed the noise because he thought something wasn't right. He froze as soon as he reached the clearing. There was a dog inside a circle of chimpanzees in the center of the jungle. He knelt down, startled to see the rope, the wounds, and the dust still clinging to the dog's body. Without hesitation, he radioed for assistance. The chimps did not flee. Instead, they stepped back and watched him patiently. The dog was taken to a rescue shelter in a hurry, but he lived despite being severely sliced on his legs by the rope, thirsty, and battered. He was located within hours of his death, according to the veterinarian. The ranger called him Tycho, which means survivor in the local dialect, and paid him daily visits. Word of the rescue spread swiftly, and most people couldn't believe it. A group of untamed chimpanzees rescuing a canine. Although it seemed fantastical, the pictures were realistic. Tycho now resides in safety at the refuge just outside the same woodland, and occasionally black eyes can be seen watching from nearby treetops. Because even when the world turns a blind eye, some people decide not to. In a society where brutality is all too frequently disregarded, a wild animal rather than a human showed mercy. The chimps behaved because they sensed pain and decided to show compassion rather than out of fear or coercion. Sometimes the most potent acts of kindness come from people who have no voice but only instinct and